Okay, I'm reading chapter 2 right now. I'm in the beginning of it. And I know you're supposed to be confused right now. I'm not like crazy confused. I'm just curious more than anything. I'm excited to see what I'm gonna learn. But yeah, there's a lot happening. I'm trying to remember all the different key things to know what the world is, like to keep everything right, like the titles, the magic parts, what are they called? But the writing's really good. I really like it. It's actually making me think about my own writing and how it compares. This line, so depressing. It was like coming home and finding all the comfort it had once offered torn apart, the beauty flensed, everything once familiar peeled off into ruin. Confused? Okay. This character that died, he got killed in front of her. She calls him her whole world. Like, she was devastated that he died. But I can't tell if it's supposed to be like their friendship was so strong or because he was such a great guy and they were so close, or if they were like in love or something. I'm sure I'll find out, but because either way it's really sad, but oh my gosh.
At the very end?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go over the book now, and I'm gonna go in order because I read it and wrote down notes as I was reading it. If it's confusing, I'm sorry, but I'll try to make it as cohesive as possible. So starting off, in the first part, I was interested, I was confused, I was like, what is going on? I think I talked about it a little bit already, but it was pretty confusing, and I was just trying to get a lay of the land, like the world and like the magic system and everything. But then I started part 2, and all of my notes are basically about part 2, and obviously the end of the book too. But so when part 2 started, it was all of her memories, right? And it was like a flashback, basically. I was shocked that Farron was a spy. I was like, okay, I totally didn't think they knew each other at all, because, you know, she thought that they just knew each other in school. Not really, they weren't close. But she literally knew him because they met up all the time. The fact that he asked for her in order to spy is just so funny to me, because he like could not handle that she would beat him sometimes. Okay, and then I said my prediction as of chapter 26 is that Farron stole her memories to protect himself from being found out as a spy. And I wasn't far off, but I just thought that was funny that I totally guessed that, and I was like, not right. There were so many parallels from part 1 into part 2. Literally, like, the exact same conversations happened. So it's interesting to think about, because in part 2, it was the past, right? So they repeated conversations in the future or present in part 1 that they had already had. And he must have known that. And she didn't. So it's just so crazy to think, like, he remembered the exact same, they had literally the same words, like, word for word, line for line, and I was like, they just said that, but they didn't. It was, so that was cool. I liked that type of writing. Okay, then this one line, I might be butchering it, but it says, women are often distinguished by their lowest title or rank possible. Like, if they sleep with someone or too many people, they're a whore immediately, whereas a guy does it and he's just still a gentleman or a playboy, you know, not anything insane. And I just thought that line was powerful, because, like, it's pretty true. Like, it doesn't matter if she's a wife or a doctor or anything, like, she gets immediately put down to the lowest possible title in people's eyes. Like, a single mother, even though it's the dad's fault for making them a single mother, but people use it in, like, a derogatory way. Anyways, there was so much going on, and their tension shattering. Okay, they were, like, meeting up twice a week, and their tension finally shattered, and they caved and had sex. And that part was so weird to me, because it felt, like, sad. And I don't know if it was because I had read part 1 and, like, knew kind of what was going to happen, but it was just so weird. They did a good job at writing the, like, icky kind of unsure feeling, and then Farron immediately withdrawing and, like, becoming weird again. That, like, just Blackthorn, the Blackthorn guy, disgusting, because he was already gross, like, in part 1 when he tried to rape her, Helena, but the fact that he's, like, this one line is so, it's so gross. He says, my favorite things are wounds, wetter, hotter, and tighter than anything. Like, that's revolting. Disgusting. Okay, yeah, and then we get to, like, the plot twisty parts. Oh my gosh. I was screaming the whole time and crying. So the war part, and she finally goes to the front lines and sees people, and I had felt like there was something weird with Luke, like, for a while, because he was acting weird, but also we didn't see him that much, so I feel like I couldn't gauge it accurately. But I was like, I feel like he's acting weird and different, and then I was like, well, they captured him, so maybe he's, like, possessed by something, or, like, they did some weird alchemy thing on him. And I was literally right. So he literally got the, the thing in him, and he was part of the Undying. And then he was fighting against the other guy in his body, and because he was still alive. And then she had to stab him, and he told her he's a Vivomancer? That was crazy to me too. I was like, oh, okay. What the heck? It's just everyone's one now. And the fact that he and Lila were, like, in love, and he pretended to be himself, and the fact that she got pregnant from that is insane. But anyways, so Helena had to kill him, and that was so sad. And then she left Farron and disobeyed his orders, even though he was gonna help get her out. And she went and bombed that place, and then she got caught. And then she got stuck in the tank, and she hid her own memories to protect Farron because she loves him. Oh my gosh. And so she literally went into her mind and just shoved everything far behind, so it was her own fault. And then she thought, like, in the beginning it said she had the feeling someone would come for her. It was him. She was feeling like he'd come for her, but he didn't know where she was. And so then part 3 is like she's torn between her two selves. She's remembering and she's scared but also in love, and she's pregnant from him, and she's like confused about her emotions toward him, but like remembers how she used to feel, and it's crazy. And then Shisio, I think that's how you say his name, being the Emperor's brother, was a crazy plot twist. And the fact that he's helping them as well is crazy. They had this whole plan. This one line I said is, they are so doomed. So Farron and Helena can't like be happy or anything is what I said. And then on page 888, they said, I love you. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he thinks he's gonna die. So he's telling her all these stories from his childhood so she can tell their daughter when she's born about him. But literally, he thinks he's gonna die because he thinks they'll find out that he's helping her and cares about her, and he wants to name their daughter after his mom. That's so cute. Which is Enid. Okay, this line broke me. It's terrible. It says, we'll go out together, won't we, old girl? Bennett's last 2 monsters. Cade said that. Cade Farron said that. Oh my gosh. His last 2 monsters? That is so depressing. Chisho gets killed. Holy cow. That ruins the plan for them to escape. Crazy. And then Helena has this idea to make him mortal, make Farron mortal, which I was like, is that even gonna work? This is crazy. And it does work. She transfers his dad's soul like in him, and that girl steals the bone pieces. It was crazy. And then she kills herself. Like, what is going on? Anyways, but his dad gave him his soul because it's what his mom would have wanted, and I thought that was so sweet. So they successfully get him to be mortal. Also, another thing, the fact that his hair was silver in the beginning, and she was like, why is his hair like that? She literally put the sunstone inside him to heal him, and that's what made him like that. And she didn't remember, but now she does, obviously. Okay, then they finally get away off to the island, and she has the baby, and they're with Lila and her baby. And everyone's safe and it's okay. And I said, I'm crying and in shock. I was just like dying. And then Lila goes back, rebuilds everything, creates a new school, and takes her son there. Apollo, named after Luke's dad. So cute. And Enid and Apollo were like besties, so it was so sad to see them separate. Enid is sad and lonely, can't really ask her parents things because they freak out because her dad is scared she'll hate him because he's a bad guy. And then her mom has her heart problems, so she has to take a bunch of medicine. Okay, we're nearing the end. Then I read the epilogue, crying, obviously. Enid going back and getting mistaken for her mom by someone was crazy. They were like, Helena, Helena? And they were like, no, it's not her. Like, she's dead. She's not. Enid going to the mainland, she read the book that said Helena did nothing in the war, and that made me cry. The literal last line was like, she did not fight. She did literally everything, even though they still lost, but like she was doing everything. And it was a very tragic story overall, and I loved it. I cried so much. After I finished reading it, I was just like bawling my eyes out. I think I put footage in here, but it was very good. I hope you guys read it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Sorry, this was kind of fast. I just was excited, so. Next book we're gonna read is Anna Karenina. I know, another long one, but this one's been on my list for a while, so if you want to read this with me, then join me in reading it for April.